Great day, great day. I am Moderator Tameko, and I welcome you to another Ladies Live. And I got my friend here, Bree. Bree's bookish.
What's up, y'all?
So, everybody, we're going to have a good time today. And we are all about Naomi. All about Naomi.
Yes. Get all the way into it.
I had so many thoughts. Of course, since this book came out in 2018, and then the appearances in the Justice League and other places and Young Justice, and then the CW show. Oh, I definitely have thoughts about that show. So let's get on into it. Let's get on into it. All right. Naomi, written by Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker, and the art by Jamal Campbell. Came out in 2018. 6-issue limited series. When a fight between Superman and Mongol crashes into a small northwestern town, Naomi McDuffie begins a quest to uncover the last time a superpowered person visited her home and how that might tie into her own origins and adoption. Follow Naomi's journey on a quest that will take her to the heart of the DC universe and unfold a universe of ideas and stories that have never been seen before.
Get it, Tameko.
Yes. So, tell me, Bree, how did you feel when you first saw this?
Well, this book I was introduced by the trade hardcover because when this single issues of this were coming out, I hadn't jumped into the world of comics just yet. But when I did, it was like, okay, I want to see heroes that look like me. So where are the Black women superheroes? And surprisingly, everyone had the same, 2-3 answers. But when you go down that rabbit hole as you do, this is one of the main things that you come across. And I just remember being like, yo, this is it. Give me everything of this. This was also my introduction to Jamal Campbell's art. And now he's one of my favorites. I love his style. I love his color palette. I love how lush everything comes across. So I was just entirely blown away by just the fact that this exists first. And then the more you read and the more you get into other things, I was kind of like, I guess I'm in this weird place where I'm like, I want these stories, our stories, to have their own origins. It doesn't have to be bouncing off of any other heroes or associated with another white hero for it to do well. But I appreciated that it touched on it just enough where it still allowed her to mostly have her own story. So I loved it. There's not a lot negative that I will have to say about the book. I'll say that. What was your first experience of it like?
Of course, I've been a comic kid for a long time, so there was nothing back then when I was younger, that represented a young black girl with ethnic hair. That's what struck me, because I said, oh wait, because I looked. Because then I saw, Brian Michael Bendis, and he's, of course, one of my favorite problematic faves. My favorite problematic comic faves. So,
that's fair.
There's always been, something that doesn't curl all the way over. Mm-hmm. But when I saw this solicited, I said, let me try it. I mean, it could be great or it could be awful. And to my surprise, it was great.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and if I had a daughter, I said this would be one of the things that I would introduce her to comics with.
Yeah.
Because this is a superhero type deal. Because other issues when they have young black women protagonists, they're like fantasy, other types of things like that, romance and things like that. Because I was never a romance novel kind of gal. So if I caught a sniff of that, I was like, no, I'm not interested.
You're like, I don't need to keep your fantasy out of my books. Thanks. I mean, your romance out of my books.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was always, real cringy about it because it was always written by men. And
Yeah.
that was another thing about this being written, of course, by Brian Michael Bendis. And then I was like, I looked at it, I said, okay, he has children,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that he's basing these characters off of that he creates. Because he
Okay.
creates a great deal of Black characters. So I said, all right, I'll trust him not to mess this up.
Yeah.
And again, I was pleasantly surprised, and I was pretty happy the way it rolls out. So this was to be a nice introduction for us in the superhero type vein. And the story was pretty good. I'm not going to quibble because, of course, it's a 6-issue limited series, and it's like it could be an ongoing, but for the popcorn people and the microwave people today, fans today, you got to give it to them in a small enough form where they can digest it easily, and then run with it.
That's fair. It's interesting that you say that because my thought was like, why is it always the case? Like, obviously this did well enough where we're getting season 2, but I didn't understand why that needed to be limited also. You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like inch it out as we go. Give us a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's doing well enough and there's enough big names behind it where you could, correlate it with some other things. So I don't know. I have issues with the limited run, the way they want to do a limited run for everything. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like they did that with Far Sector, which I feel like could still be going strong right now. I feel like they're doing Moon Girl got to have a decent run, but what they're doing with her right now, all of these shorter term things and one shots, I'm like, please let this be building up to something substantial because she definitely has staying power. Like, so I don't know. And then the idea of let's transition this to screen in some way, I feel like Moon Girl had the potential to be like a really dope live action Disney series, but they decided to make it a cartoon, and I'm just like, okay, so we're getting it, which is great because that'll introduce, younger people to this world, and maybe that's something that they can grow up with the character if she keeps going. But it's also like, can you imagine how dope that would have been? Like, if you put Loki budget and money behind a Moon Girl live action series, come on.
Even on the strength of the dinosaur alone.
Right, that's exactly.
Should be real easy to do at this point.
Yeah.
But they have their issues. The comic companies have their issues.
Yeah.
And then I'll rant about that on another thing.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess we just have to continue being the loud audience so that way they know we're here.
Definitely. All right. So now we're moving on to the other appearances that Naomi has had in the DC universe and the multiverse, as it is.
Yeah.
Okay, of course. Her season 1 miniseries, 1-6, Action Comics, 10-15 and 10-16. Those are really kind of cool. I thought it was really nice, to just have her pop in, and then of course Superman being her idol, and then actually getting to be face to face with him, and to bond with him on their orphan status, and then also to bond with Batman on his orphan status, because you would think that these people would not have much in common, but they all have like a common thread together. So they was able to meld together for her appearance in Action Comics.
Then, and I like that they didn't buddy movie her. They let her like actually get her shine,
Yes, they actually let her do something. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that. So then she went into Young Justice. Now, I came into Young Justice after the fact, of course, as most of them, because, most of them are not really for me. I understand. So she went through with them. and I read a couple of theirs there. Okay. Oh, let me give our shout outs while we're doing that here. Arthur English. Hey, hey. How are you? Okay. And oh, she was in 1014 as well. Huh. I'll probably have to check that out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she was in 1014, 15, and 16 of Action Comics. Now, where I jumped back in was with the Justice League when she and Black Adam slid into the Justice League.
Yeah,
Now,
I only caught a couple of those.
Those covers were fire. Those covers were fire, and I probably should have put a couple of them up, but
yeah, see, I'm
that's
late
what
to
drew
the
my
game,
eye.
just flipping through Comixology because I'm completely missed that.
Yep, that's what caught my eye, and then I saw it because I saw her and Black Adam on the cover. I was like, wait, what's she doing over there?
Yeah.
So then I picked those up, and that started at 59, and I believe that she was sent back home in 74. I don't have 75 yet. I'm still a bit upset about what they're doing, but that goes into other comics. I'm not going to bring that here. So the Justice League, of course, showed up in the Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes, where they introduced the Gold Lantern and his story. And of course, I'm a huge Legion of Superheroes fan. I have all those old comics and
Really?
the reprints of the ones that I couldn't get my hands on. So yes, I love anything that was Legion of Superheroes. I mean, they have their own boxes. Can't put anything else in the box because I had so many runs of those.
Okay.
So that's that. And then of course we go right into Naomi season 2, which is up to episode 3 right now, issue 3.
Yeah.
So that's, of course, her comic appearances. Oh, and she also had a couple of cameos in Green Lantern. But she was kind of sprinkled in throughout. So that was the thing. Now, I want to talk about that CW.
Well, I'll say going into this show, I had no expectations because when you say it's a CW show, I just automatically assume we're going to get cornball level of cheese, subpar acting, and that it's going to be geared towards a teenage audience. So I was like, all right, we're just going to go in with no expectations because I know all of these things about the CW. Where I did switch it up and put a little more, credence towards what it could have the potential to be is where they threw in Ava DuVernay. And I was like, I trust her to, throw her stink on it because she's done some tremendous work in other shows. And then the fact that Brian Michael Bendis was also, co-supporting on it for production, I was like, all right, there's creative control. It's not going to get entirely CW-fied, but that's a word I just made up and we're rocking with it. But I was like, ugh, I have my qualms. So obviously, whenever they change mediums like this, you expect some changes or variations to the story. But I was like, the whole concept of like, we're going to switch up the origins of, who's who as far as like her adopted parents and Dee versus Zimbardo. I'm just like, why did we have to change that from the comic itself? What were your thoughts about that?
Well, I know that the CW is definitely not for my demographic. I knew that.
Yeah.
But I was already there because I was watching the Batwoman.
Okay.
After the Batwoman became black. So I said, okay, I'm rocking with it. I can deal with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they were really faithful to the comic. For the most part, they made several changes, But I'm not that type of a comic reader where it has to be exactly the way it is in these pages.
That's fair.
I'm able at the very least to turn that part of my brain off and see it for what it is and try to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I did for the most part. For the most part, I did enjoy it. And then I'm gonna tell you, and there's a real shallow reason why I enjoyed this show for the most part. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, come on. Yeah.
Alexander Ray.
What?
I would love to give a gift for whoever casted him as D.
Yes. 100%. They were like, you know what? We need to just throw in some beefcake here and there. He can hold down the show for the resident beefcake, and I was not disappointed at all. The scene where her adopted parents were having their anniversary party and he came through with the suit, I was like,
oh,
yes,
but that was the funniest part. But see, and the humor also got me because
Yeah.
you know I had been telling people that the actor who plays Zimbardo on this show, his clothes are too tight. His clothes are too tight. How is this man able to breathe? And then putting D in his clothes, and then D going, these clothes are too tight. And I fell on the floor. I mean, I had to pause it. I was laughing so hard.
No,
That's it.
I need you to understand how hard I cackled because every time they'd seen him again in the party, he had taken some layer
Something
off.
off.
Oh, I was cracking up. He was like, it's restrictive. It's too tight. It's like, yeah, I don't know why you thought you were going to put his clothes on and fit any of it because it was small on him. I get it. I got Zimbardo with the tight fit, you know, that's like a more modern look. But you weren't going to put D in his suit and he not have a problem.
Oh, it was just a key. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean,
Yeah.
there was other people, you know, in the space was talking about, well, the actress was too old. I was like, this actress is 17 years old. I said, what did you expect her to look like?
Right.
I mean, she was perfect. Casey Wallfall was perfect as Naomi.
Yeah, she did a great job. It was a very good balancing act for me with her as an actress because one thing that I hate when they do these types of shows is when they try to like point people, make your main character a combination of every annoying stereotype. And I feel like they did a really good job of not doing that in this case. She was her own genuine person. She had her own interest. She wasn't too much of anything. They gave her just enough swagger with her fits and everything where she was distinguishable. They let her they switched up my girl's braids like 3-4 times, let her have her own. See, don't get me started on black hair in comics because that was one thing that I was like, spot on. Jamal Campbell slayed that hair. Because I have seen some rough looking black girl hair in comics. Like, no shade, because I get that it's a texture that you have to achieve. But you know, that's like a level you have to unlock to be able to do it properly. But they did not miss there, and they made sure that they gave my girl like options. Like, I switched it up with that. The only way they could have done it more is if there was some situation where she was going to get her hair done, and to me that would have been too much and taken away from the story. But she had it switched up throughout the series, so I was happy with that.
And it also progressed with the story because in the beginning, you know, she had glasses and she was, you know, having issues and things like that. But once they made that click into her discovering that she's not what she thought she was, okay, put them glasses down, never picked them back up.
Never.
And I said that was cool. And that was cool. And nobody would really have noticed that because, of course, most people would be like, okay, why aren't you wearing your glasses? You need your glasses. No, I don't.
She said that from the jump, though. Like, and their explanation was like a little weak sauce. So it's like, okay, no, she's smart enough to ask the question. That's another thing too. In these types of shows, it normally irks my soul that there's no the miscommunication trope just runs rampant. So there was some instances of it, but I feel like they were mild in the sense of she is a teenager processing all of this, so she's gonna keep certain things close to the chest and make certain decisions just based off of being a naive teenager, but it wasn't just flat out no one's saying anything, you know, like we had I will say one the scene where they're escaping from Star Labs and they're in like the ventilation system, and it's like there's a potential for us to get like pulverized in here. Let me sit you down and tell you a story and share my memories with you. I was like, what are we doing?
We're running from people shooting at us. Why do we have time for flashbacks? But yeah, that kind of caught me too. I was sitting there like, can you hurry up?
Yes,
you can talk outside.
Okay, and then they get out of the vent systems and they're in one of the offices, and they're still, it's like y'all almost got killed in the vents and we still stopping and doing flashbacks. I liked the flashbacks because I think that was a great way to tell the other Earth stories. I just didn't like that it was in the middle of them getting chased. That did not make sense to me.
Because it just takes the tension out of the scene. You'd be like, okay, so they obviously have enough time to sit and talk a couple of minutes. So they're not going to be in any danger of getting hurt, you know.
Yeah, they're running away from people, and he's like, let me show you these memories. And then she's like shouting and stuff. It's like, y'all are not hiding. That's not what's happening right now.
They can see you.
Right? They're going to hear you. Somebody going to find you eventually.
Yeah, but those little missteps I tend to forget because it wasn't a whole lot, and they wasn't beating us over the head with them.
Right. That's
true.
Which
I was okay with it. I was fine.
That's fair.
And then there's other threads there because they did the story dirty by the end, but then that was really no fault of the actors or probably not even Ava, because once Warner Brothers decide to snatch things and then they decide to do a UPN where, okay, we'll get rid of all the black stuff first and then see what's left.
Yeah.
And they kind of did the story dirty from that end because it was rushed. Especially at the last episode of the series, not even the season of the series, where she actually discovers, okay, I can actually fly. And that was the worst CGI I had ever. Was Ava sick that day? Did she not come to the set to fix that?
That's after stuff. That is that after stuff. Like, she can direct her butt off, but if the budget is not there to make it smooth afterwards.
Because even the look on Casey's face was like, I am so over this. Can we be finished with this? I'm tired. I'm hungry. Can you? And I said, you can see those thoughts going right across her forehead in the last climactic episode, last scene of the episode. And it's like, that's the last we see of her. So hopefully someone else will pick it up, or she'll go. Well, I'm kind of afraid of HBO Max snatching things because then they like to be gratuitous when they remix shows. So I was like, no, we don't need to see Naomi in any uncompromising positions or circumstances, because then I would just have to sit there and go, I'm going to set the studio on fire. Don't do that to my girl. Oh.
So what do you think the potential is for us to see? Because obviously they've pulled the show. What do you think the potential is for us to see her in anything else coming up? Because we see the direction that they've gone with, like, the Batman. So I don't see them throwing those two universes together on the screen. They're like different,
firmly separated
ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
Because this is the Arrowverse. I think they connected her to the Arrowverse. And then the Superman and Lois, I'm not quite sure. I never watched that show. I'm not quite sure how that would have clicked in if they was allowed to stay in production, how that she would have clicked into there. Considering on Naomi's world, okay, Superman is supposedly a fiction of someone's imagination, but he's actually real in her world. So I should hope that they would be just as loyal to the storyline going on in the comics. Because that's another little peeve of mine where, okay, they change the comics to reflect the media, as opposed to having the media reflect on from the comics, and then do the media through the comic.
Well, we're getting Black Adam, so do you think she'll pop up there?
That would be something. That would be something. So I'm not confident because other than Black Panther, I don't trust how folks do black people in these type of movies. Okay, I only trust Marvel and MCU because they did a great job with their premier black superheroes. So we'll have to see what they do bringing mutants and bringing Storm in and things like that. So I'm not confident unless they can hire a Kevin Feige like person over at Warner Brothers to revamp the DC universe on TV. Because they're going with the gritty and the grim and the sexy type deals. Because of course on HBO Max, we have Teen Titans and the Doom Patrol. So I've caught a couple of those, and I was like, oh, okay, they're working towards something, but it's more of an adult Ben.
Yeah.
Because Naomi is still a teenager.
Yeah.
I don't want them to grow her up so fast and to have her be doing adult things, before she's even ready to do that.
That's why I
want to do that.
I don't know. This might just be me being having wishful thinking, but I think they might let my girl pop in Black Adam some type of way. I really think so. There's an opportunity there. I don't think they'll give her like a full thing, but a cameo would open a lot of doors if they just let her. Because there's nothing, for whatever faults there were for the show, the actress they chose to play Naomi is perfect for Naomi.
Definitely.
So I think they should. I'm really hoping that they give her the opportunity to branch out elsewhere before they just completely shut down on that project.
All right, so let's throw in some comments here. Okay, from Arthur English. That was the only reason he got the Justice League, because Naomi was there. I'm with you because I was right there too. I was right there with you.
Thanks.
All right, which Green Lantern? The current Green Lantern series, where the blackest Green Lantern series I've ever seen and enjoyed so much. So she was peppered in because the Justice League was peppered in most of the episodes. So I think I have to check to see which Green Lantern episode where she interacted with Joe Mullen. Again, I'll talk about Green Lantern another time. That I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. Okay, and then the Arthur also hopes that the show gets picked up by HBO Max. Like I said, long as they don't go real adult on my girl, and if they can keep Casey Waldfall. I'm sorry, Waterfall. Her name's Waldfall. So if they can keep her and then not go real adult with it, I'm down. Okay. My fellow black comic lord, Paul. Why doesn't Naomi have shoes?
Her suit is incomplete.
Yeah.
You're supposed to pick up the shoes.
She's working.
Pick up the shoes afterwards. She got her suit from the device that her mom left for her, and it was kind of absorbed into her, right? So that has been like an ongoing joke for me. Like, we couldn't have just picked up some boots, or maybe she's just more comfortable.
Put on some sneakers. Something.
She had on dunks and blazers throughout the series. Let my girl put some sneakers on or something. But yeah, she really is just out here wholly barefoot.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to talk to Bendis about that. I was like, what is the reason, sir? What's your rationale? Exactly. Now, so after that, we're going to go now into season 2. I love this. I really do. It exceeded my expectations because I deliberately kept them low just to make sure that, that I'm not disappointed if they come up with something ridiculous. But this actually is the perfect starting point. Naomi got her powers. She's been jumping and buffing with the Justice League and Young Justice.
Yes.
And now she comes home. And things aren't quite the same at home.
Yeah.
And then the best part about it is that she's actually talking to a therapist about it.
Come on, somebody. I was like, I mean, there's a weird thing about being the first one to do something or whatever, but I very much like that it's a constant theme. Like, for one, you're saying, letting people know that that's okay. I feel like there's a lot of barriers and stigmas being broken down by everything happening now, where it's like, you have to take care of your mental well-being, and that does not exclude you just because you have superpowers. If anything, you need more therapy so that you're not out here hurting people. But I like that they allowed the space for her to have whatever conflict or issues and express her emotions about what's going on with the changes within her family dynamic, and that she is seeing her therapist regularly and it's normalized, because I think that's a beautiful thing. But this is exactly why I feel like we could potentially get a Black Adam cameo from Naomi, because I mean, this whole situation where it's like they have their interactions, Superman checking in a little bit, there's a lot of opportunity for it, because I feel like that might be one of the reasons why we're getting season 2 right now, if that makes sense. Because they're like, it sounds terrible, but really everything's a money grab. So they're like, whoever we can pull in to potentially participate in this Black Adam situation we got going on, we're going to pull in every demographic that we can with these little, I think that's why everybody's like going crazy with these one shots and these what ifs and whatever, because they're like, we gotta compete, we gotta have every cameo, every collaboration possible, because that's what everybody else is doing right now. So that's why I strongly agree that we see her interactions with Black Adam in season 2 in the comics, and I think that it's gearing us up for that potential interaction in the Black Adam movie.
Yeah, because I was really glad that they at least slid her and Black Adam out of that death of the Justice League. It still bothers me. I just can't. I can't. Because it just permeates into everything, and it's like, don't these different editors talk to each other?
No, the answer is no. Everybody's like, I'm going to do my thing, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. I was sitting there going, you're going to do this big old thing, to celebrate the death of Superman. I think you could have just had them retire.
Yeah.
And not be dead. Because it's just ridiculous. And then, of course, they made me mad because Hippolyta was hanging with the Justice League in place of her daughter while she was dead. And it's like, you had just brought Wonder Woman back, and then you're going to just send her back off again? I don't get it. And then you send Hippolyta home, and she gets killed at home. And it's like, you could have just left her with them if you're going to kill Hippolyta. But that has nothing to do with Naomi. Oh, I could rant for days about the whole thing. And I probably will in a separate video. But
as you should. We should have a whole separate live where everybody just does all of their big issue rants.
Yeah. Oh, it's just well, yeah. The covers.
Stunning.
Oh.
Jamal Campbell can do no wrong, but I blame Black Comic Lords, because I would not have known about this variant that you're showing and the other colorway if it hadn't been posted in the room. And I need you to know, as soon as it got posted in the group, I was like frantically searching, because I y'all know I'm a heavy pre-order kind of gal. As soon as final order cutoff gets posted, I'm like doom scrolling, like, okay, add. If it's Black, I'm adding it. And then I'll look at how much the damage is and be like, all right, let's filter out which one of these we're not going to get. But so I had just Naomi is automatic. I'm buying every cover. Nubia is automatic. I'm buying every cover. Moon
Mm-hmm.
Girl, automatic, buying every
Every
cover.
cover.
Bar
Yeah.
Sector, automatic, buying every cover. So that's why I was like, oh shoot, how did I miss this? I like called my local comic shop and was like, hey, how did I miss this? Why was this not? And they were like, oh, it was an exclusive. And I was like, okay, so now I got to figure out how to find this exclusive. And immediately it was like, yeah, we're buying this. And I normally am not that. I normally have a rule where it's like, if it's over $15, then I'm not gonna, at like the regular sale, then I'm not gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
these covers were stunning.
we had to make an exception because I looked at my budget and I was like, you know what?
We're gonna put something else back to get that.
Blow it. I'll have to figure something out next month.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, but this was great. This was, of course, Naomi coming back home and then hearing all the things that people have said about her while she was gone and things like that. Because she's sitting there like, they're going, you fought Black Adam to the death. And I'd be like, no, he was just sitting across the table from me at the Justice League.
Yeah, that's what was so cute. Talking to her therapist, like, why would they make this up when the regular story is already exciting?
Wild enough. Wild enough.
Girl, they gonna talk about you regardless.
But it was just real cute because I looked at that and she's sitting there going, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. What's going on? and her father now is acting funky.
Yeah. Yeah. He's stressed. Her adopted father is stressed because he's like, what you're not about to do is get us sued, okay? I don't need you killing nobody. I don't need no accidents. I need you to get this together. And it's like, but somewhere amidst all of this, yes, she's doing all this stuff, but somewhere amidst all of this, you forgot she's a whole teenager. So you need to manage
got her powers yesterday.
Yes, right. Like literally, she's new to this. And I feel like him as a warrior or a soldier or whatever, with his experience, he should have some measure of like compassion or understanding for that, because he has known her whole life. So to just automatically make this assumption that like she's going to make this transition immediately and into understanding this like an adult is not realistic at all.
Right. But it happens. It does. But the thing about it is, it's good that she actually had someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that person, of course, other than her therapist, was D.
Yeah.
So she goes to D and is like, listen, this is not right. He's like, you'll be all right. You'll be okay.
Yes.
And then, of course, you go into his particular thing where now she had invited him to dinner with her parents, so they could all calm down and chill out. But he doesn't show up. So, of course, now he's missing. So now she's sitting there, she's flailing about, trying to figure out what's happening, okay? And she finds a little piece of something. Okay, let's stop that there. She finds this little piece. It's a Thanagarian type of symbol there.
Yeah.
So, this is what tickled me about that particular issue. She goes to the only other Thanagarian that she knows, Hawkgirl. And of course, Hawkgirl flips out. Because, of course, this is a not so nice thing, okay, to Thanagarians.
Yeah.
So, of course, in the midst of yelling at Naomi, okay, and Naomi's like, ma'am, I'm just trying to find my friend. Honey, he's no friend of yours if he has that. So, of course, in the midst of all of this, okay, you see here, she takes off her helmet. And Naomi realizes this is the first time she has seen Hawkgirl, her actual face. Now, mind you, she's been in the Justice League for a minute now. They've gone to different worlds. They've gone to Naomi's home world together and fought in battle. And she's like, wait a minute, I didn't know you looked like that for real. And then Homegirl's like, I never told you my name. I thought I was so tickled. I said, now see all of this going on. So that tells you, okay, that tells you that even though they were together for quite a bit, it all happened so fast.
And that's why my girl needs therapy, because
Yeah.
nobody's processing any of this. They're just like, come on, girl, this is what we do.
Yeah, because they just brought her into the fold as regular old. Oh yeah, we do this every first Tuesday and every Thursday. And then of course the funniest thing there, Kendra is sitting there going, "My name is Kendra." She's like, "Your name is Kendra." I never told you my name. No. Nice to meet you. By the way. And then she of course explains to Naomi what that symbol is about. You know. But I was just so tickled by that. I said, I love little beats like that because it's just, it's so amazing. Because I said, yeah, it would be strange that you're around these people that you had always fantasized about or had heard about, and you actually meet them in the flesh, and yet they still.
It's still like a co-worker environment until some stuff gets real.
They don't really trust you enough to say anything, or she just didn't realize that. Oh wait a minute, these are actual people underneath these wings and helmets and cowls and things. Because yeah, Superman's Clark Kent, everybody knows that. But the rest of them probably don't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, or that the Flash is Wally West, or is he Wally or is he Barry? I'm so confused because there's so many of them. And and of course, well, Hippolyta was always Hippolyta. She didn't bother with the Wonder Woman thing.
Yeah.
And Black Adam. Okay. So yeah. So it's just real. It's really something. It's like, yeah, it's understandable that, oh wait a minute, there's coworkers that I don't even know what they look like for real. And I faced death with them several times.
Yeah.
So yeah, that particular scene tickled me. I just thought that was so cute.
So where do we think it's going, though, is the question.
Okay. Well, she's in at the end of issue 2, she meets up with Cyborg. And it's, of course, a whole big multiverse thing. And, of course, I haven't got my hands on issue 3 yet. So I'm not able to spoil it, nor would I spoil it either. I wouldn't do that because I would let y'all read it.
Yeah, I like to give a little space for it. I have picked it. As you can see, my recent pulls are stacking up at this point. So I have to catch up. But yeah, we won't give. That is a pet peeve. If you are watching this, Black Comic Lords, give us some time before you start dropping these spoilers in the group. Come on, man.
Yeah, because there's certain people who like to put whole panels in there, and I'm like, we didn't get that yet, and I'm trying to be a good moderator and be nice and not pop them every time they do it. So
That's fair. I mean, I get people are excited and all that, but I'm one of those where it's like, at least give me a week. People, we're all adults collecting these things. We got jobs and everything else. I can understand not waiting months. Like, if you're really excited, go ahead, share that panel. But at least let us have a few days at least. People like to drop day, share full pages and whatever. And I'm just like, come on, man. That's
the first day the book is on the shelf. I was like, I didn't get it yet.
I haven't even gone to my local comic shop to pick my copy up yet, and you're already spoiling stuff.
Yes. So that's all about Naomi. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure did. I could talk about comics all day. and I will later on. So keep an eye out. Because it's the end of the month. I got to do my haul. It's ready. It wasn't as bad as it was last month. I'll give you guys that little tidbit. Because last month I went nuts. So
I hear your voice in my head when I'm picking up my final order cutoffs, putting everything in my pulls list. Like, read the comics. Don't go broke buying comics because you can't come stay here.
You can't stay with me. Sorry. None of the black comic lords can accommodate you. If your wife puts you out, because I love seeing those texts, and I just love teasing them every time I see them. We can't
Yeah,
take you in.
yes. I'm trying to like filter it down. Like, okay, if I don't absolutely have to have these single issues, I will wait for the trade. Wait for the trade.
Mhm.
Wait for the trade. Wait for the trade. I have to say that
Yeah.
constantly through my head because normally I'd be like, oh, if it's black, I'm buying it.
Mhm. Yep, because that's what I'm thinking about for the Young Justice. I'm just debating on whether or not to chase the floppies or just, get the trades and be done with it. So that's one of those
So,
things.
I don't know. Like I said, I have my handful of characters that I will follow. So that's what
Hmm.
I'm trying to do now. It's like I'm not gonna get everything black. It's just if it's characters that I mess with and I care about, then I'll get all of the singles for those.
All right. So where can they find you?
Or
If you
you can
want them to find you.
you can find me at Breeze Bookish on Instagram. And if you are interested in reading graphic novels as well as general novels, I also have a book club called Be Too Weird. You can find me on Instagram under that as well. And we showcase sci-fi and fantasy books by authors of color, and we rotate between things. We do have a subset that reads graphic novels, and we're reading monstrous. So it's not all black, but it is strictly characters and authors of color.
All right. And you can find me at Star Dancer underscore Supreme on IG and BCL Star Dancer Supreme on the Twitters. And let me tell you, I wild out on the Twitters. So don't come there and expect me to have decorum. I have fun on Twitter. And I'll let you know that right ahead of time before you sit there and email the black comic lords be like, she said such and such on Twitter. Yes, I said it.
She said it all on Twitter.
And I meant it. All right. So thank you for joining me today, Bree. And we give a shout out to our other lady, Angel Perry. Hope you're feeling better. I'm sending that tea to you. It'll be in the mail tomorrow. And read the comics. Buy the comics first. Stay in your budget. And we will see you next month for Ladies Live.